Hello everyone, welcome to my live stream. My name is Denise Hutchins and I'm broadcasting to you from Studio Mikarts. Our charity of the month is Veganuary and today is the last day of our fundraiser for January. So there are a few ways you can help me, help them, help the animals. One, make a donation to our fundraiser here on Twitch. Yesterday, Wolf Axe 2 awesomely donated the entire 10-pound goal that we had set, but we can always exceed that, so please do donate if you can. If you can't, no worries. Just watch this stream and bring your friends. This is the last one of this month for this fundraiser, and I will make a donation of my own based on my Twitch unique viewers count. You can also find a link to Veganuary in my Twitch description, in the YouTube description of this once it's uploaded as a recording. Those are another way you could just go donate directly to them there if you'd like. Also, just learn more about them. Okay, it's Friday, which means it's time for Chibi Friday! Yay! I love ending my week doing some fun artwork. This is actually also a gift. This is the request that my younger sister made for her birthday chibi. It's her kitty Tiger. And we started him last week. As you can see here, I didn't want to have to write down the names of all the markers that I used on this piece so far. So I actually, instead of putting them away, jammed them all into this, like it doesn't fit. There's so many markers in here. So I jammed them all into this little pouch so that I would just be able to pick them back up and remember which grays I use, and hopefully I'll remember where I used them. But it was this, or just try to remember which. With this many markers that's not happening, or write them all down, which I have done in the past, but there's so many of them that would take so long. So I've got all the markers that I need there. I also have my reference image up on my secondary monitor, which you can't see on stream, but it's over this way where I'm pointing to my left. I have my reference image of Tiger up. So it's basically a photo of him looking up like this, and then I Chibified it. So there's not too much more to do with markers. I think I just want to deepen some of the values because right now he's still looking fairly flat. There's not that much range from the brightest colors to the darkest colors. So that's the thing that I would like to do most with marker today. As far as actual hue, color itself, you know, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, I think we've got everything covered because we have the pink of his nose and mouth, we have the green of his eyes, the sort of yellowish tan, and the grays and browns of his fur. So all we need to do is make it look a little more interesting with some darker versions of all those colors. So first let me get these organized. I tried to put them in a way that made sense, but pulling them out, you know, you can't guarantee what order they're going to come out in, so I just want them in number order for the most part because that helps me quickly be able to see which marker I need. So here's the 3 greens that I used and the 2 pinks. I don't remember which one's darker. You can't always rely on these caps. The caps don't always properly reflect the color that's inside the marker. But for now, I'll just use that because it would take a long time to look at each one and compare. I do have my swatch book though, so that helps. Opening it up, put the clip back on in the back. So the biggest thing I want to do is create a lot more dark color on this part of his fur that's supposed to be the darkest bit of fur. It's not always in all places super black like the most dark pigment you could find. Especially on the back of his head here, it's catching a lot of light because of the way it's angled. you can just tell there's got to be light coming in from a window or a sliding glass door or something hitting him right here. But then up here, these stripes on his forehead are very black. We've got a lot of black here, but as you go farther down his back, again, it's catching more light. So I think I was using the warm gray for his tabby fur, and I think I was using the toner gray for his white fur. So if I'm looking at the warm grays, I do have warm gray 10 out already. So I assume I must have used that, and if that's the case, the only thing darker I have is black or special black. They're very, very similar, but when I look at them in my swatch book, this one seems a bit darker and maybe a bit less cool. This one seems a little more cool. So I'll just go with regular black. The marker number is 100. Dang it, once again my camera is all dark. It doesn't know how to handle stuff. So, okay, if I put my hands in there, it gets bright again. That's one thing that actually kind of sucks about this newest, most advanced camera being 100% automatic. It's the logic that runs it is sometimes wrong. So, ah, well, doesn't have to be perfect. I've actually been working in my perfectionism workbook, mental health workbook. It's using the ACT method, the acceptance and, what is it? Acceptance and something therapy or theory, or I can't remember what it stands for. Okay, Google. In psychology, what does ACT stand for?
Acceptance and commitment therapy.
Ah.
On the website my.clevelandclinic.org, they say, acceptance and commitment therapy is a type of mental health therapy that helps you acknowledge your relationship with your thoughts and feelings. To find out more, look for the link in your Google Home or Google Assistant app.
Well, I don't know if you heard all of that, but it's acceptance and commitment therapy. So that's what I've been working on, my perfectionism, because it's been trying to come back. It's not like it ever goes away, but you can sort of wrangle it into something useful instead of being overwhelmed by it. And so I'm working on getting back my control over it so that I'm not being ruled by it. I don't remember why I brought that up, though. I was talking about something and it doesn't have to be perfect, I guess. Oh well, it's fine. Just accept it. Acceptance and commitment. I wonder why I was bringing that up, though. I mean, I'm just curious now. Oh well. I'm just adding this black marker in wherever it looks like we really need some nice dark patches. Let me move this down so we can see. Oh right, I had to make up his tail because it's not actually visible in the photo. It's wrapping around my sister's leg. She's in the photo, her legs are on the ground, and like her leg is right here in the photo. He's wrapping around asking for food, probably. I recognize this. This is the feed me please face, so please give me some tasty nom-noms. I'm ready. Meow meow. Okay, we've got black 100. I'm going to go down to the warm gray 10, which is the darkest warm gray, and try to blend this really dark color in with the lighter but still darkest so far gray color that's on the page. I remember why I was talking about perfectionism, because of this camera. Or at least I think that was why. Because I'm looking at it and I'm like, ah, it's really dark again. But it doesn't have to be perfect. Not looking for perfect. Good enough is fine. Workable is fine. Plus, the most important thing for me for these live streams is actually get some work done. It truly is. It's become such a motivator and an anchor for just getting my artwork done. Looking in that perfectionism workbook. So it's an actual workbook where you write in it and everything. You don't just read about the theory. You read about it and then you put it into practice. And I have filled out a whole bunch of it already. I never finished it, but it's been so long since the last time I worked on it, I decided, you know what, I'm going to look over what I already did before, see where I am now, get a refresher on what have I forgotten. And it's very pleasing to see that a lot of things I have actually successfully changed for myself and changed the way I think and the way I act, so that I'm not sabotaging myself with unhelpful behaviors, stuff like that. So one of the things that I had written about at the time was just being able to get started, no longer procrastinating. I did what I would always call productive procrastination, where yeah, I was procrastinating, but I was doing stuff that needed doing anyway. I'd do other stuff on the to-do list. So I'd be getting stuff done and then sort of feel all right about it. Like, well, it needed, I'd be giving myself an excuse like, well, it needed to be done anyway. And so it wasn't a waste of time and it was fine. But ultimately, I was running away from my most important projects, like my Griffia novel, which is my number one most important project that I really want to get done, but it's also the one that takes the most time, the most effort. You really got to stick it out because it just takes so long to write and edit and refine such a story. And so I was running away. I realize now, reading those, I actually have 2 perfectionism books. One's a workbook and one's just a book, but it does have activities for you to do. And so it's really nice to see, looking back at what was plaguing me before. I said I'm not 100%. There's still things for me to work on, obviously, or I wouldn't be returning to this book. But it's so exciting seeing how much live streaming has helped with something like perfectionism. You might think that it would actually do the opposite, that it would be so intimidating or something, but actually it's really helped me just sit down and do it. Just sit down and work on it. So that's what's most important here. It's not about making sure that my stream looks absolutely perfect and 100% professional, which it's professional in that this is my profession, this is the thing that I do, this is my career, but I don't have like a big budget or a team of people to help me behind the scenes or anything. I'm doing this all by myself. So I've got to prioritize what's most important. Getting this artwork done is what's most important. So anyway, it's really nice to have that. It's freeing to have that and to feel focused and feel like, you know what, it's okay if it's not perfect. It's okay if I forgot to move my mic the other day and so my sound was wonky and got really loud when I remembered to move the mic, or last week when I didn't check on my mic and I had to stop my stream and start over because it just wasn't even connected. So I like streamed for 10 minutes with no sound. So it's like awesome to not worry about that and just keep moving on, because what's most important? Making lots of beautiful illustration, creating my stories, that's what matters to me. That's what I want to keep doing. So I don't want to be distracted by perfectionism. I don't want to be distracted by being afraid. That's the biggest thing that this workbook, what's the word? This workbook teaches? I guess it's a close enough word. it teaches that the root of perfectionism is fear of failure. And all kinds of, your fear of failure could be all kinds of different things. So that's why it's great that it's a workbook, because it helps you work that through and find out what is your particular fear of failure. Because you're defining that failure yourself too. It's not really some outside force saying you are a failure. It's your own mind saying you are a failure because you didn't do X or something. So it's great to not fear that anymore and just keep going. Let's just keep going. Keep making stuff. Keep having fun. Keep sharing your art. Really liking how this is coming out. I think we've got way more variety. I'm going to bring this closer and hold it up so you can see. I think. It's so dark on the one side. Why is it so dark on this side? Oh, because it's actually casting a shadow. There, I moved the lamp. That's better. So you can see much better contrast and more variety in the colors. Yeah, there we go. Oh, Aoife's growling. You hear that? I feel like I could take this farther though, so I'm going to. I'm going to try to make my... I didn't mean to turn that off. Okay, I'll see if I can do this in this way so that the shadow... I put the lamp, it's actually just right here. You can see, because you can see the shadow on my fingers and the light's right here. But it's still really dark. Realize now it's actually a problem for me because I love using the OBS video. White balance? No. Maybe I'll turn up the brightness. Or should I turn up exposure? Guess I'll turn up the brightness now. Oh no, it's so... Maybe I'll turn exposure up. Whoa, that's way too high! Wow. Oh, it's barely brighter than it was before. But what if I do brightness up? What if I do contrast up? Oh! If I do contrast up, that looks better. What if I turn brightness back down? Trying to get my gooseneck. No, don't turn the gooseneck lamp to be even. Okay, we'll try this. I think what confuses the camera is this very shiny spot. It sees that and it's like, oh, it's way overexposed. Okay, we'll try that for now so that you can see him better and also I can see him better, because what I was trying to say is that I love looking over at my OBS screen because it's a way for me to see this smaller, which helps give me a better idea of the overall effect that I'm getting from this marker work. So, I don't know if I move this here and this over here. So it's not so close. I'm probably gonna forever be struggling with my lamps, trying to find a balance. Okay. Because I couldn't do that with the lamp in my face like that. So let me try this again. Okay, brightness. What if I turn exposure up? Is that too much? What if I turn brightness down? Oh, if I turn brightness down. Turn contrast down. That looks good. Okay. Well, that's good enough for now. Might change it again later, but let's keep going. Alright. We're very, very close. Very, very close. Feel pretty satisfied with his body overall, but I think on this side I'd like a little bit more shadow because the light's coming from this way. It is a little bit different from the left to right side of his body, but I feel like it could be taken a little farther. And then I'll work his spots with an even darker marker. I'll go even farther for the spots that'll be farthest down on his body, which also means farthest away from the light. How's that? Well, that's much better. Especially looking over in the camera over there, you really can see. Much brighter, much darker. And I'll probably add some colored pencil to it anyway, later to add texture. So we could also add a little darker fur while we're at it. What else? What else could use more? How about his face? His face looking alright? I feel like it is. Maybe a little tiny bit more on this side of the face. Hopefully this isn't too dark. There is a slightly darker patch right here. Trying to get that in there. Maybe I need to go really dark right here. It's a little tiny bit seems darker there. Okay. What else? It's hard to say. This ear seems like it could be darker. But then the fur inside actually seems lighter. Let's darken it up a little bit. Then we can use white ink on top for that fur, bring that fur back. Remember how dark I went inside of this ear. I think I went to 7. Let's see. Oh, no, this is much darker. Okay. His nose and mouth could use more variety. But there's such small spaces, I think I'll save that for colored pencil. And that means I'm pretty close to done, though it does feel like he could use more dark fur on his forehead, but at this point I also am leaning toward just leaving that for colored pencil. So yeah, let's do that. Let's move on to using colored pencil. So we're done with the Copic markers. Hooray! Use colored pencil, then white ink. And I feel very confident that we'll be able to finish this on this stream. So next will be, after that, digitizing it, digital cleanup, and getting it put into, saved as various formats to be delivered as the gift that it is. So, right, colored pencil. So I gotta put these away. I was thinking maybe I could wait to put these away. They're trying to fly away. But I need this whole space because my colored pencils take up so much room. Okay. So it's actually pretty easy to put these away because I have this nice marker rack. So they're all visible and I just put them in order. I can see exactly where they should go. Some of them are a little confusing though because it's not like these markers go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's a lot of skipped numbers and stuff, and so I might have to swap markers when I realize, oops, this one should have gone in the space next to it. But all in all, it's pretty easy to put these away. And then it's really nice when I need the markers again next time I do a marker piece because they're all in order, so it's easy to find the one I want. But I did use a lot of markers on this piece, so there's a lot to put away. Almost done though. Warm gray 10, warm gray 6, 8, 3, and then yellow green 25, which this one needs to move and this one needs to move, and there we go. There. Oh, I need my colored pencils. Alright, got it. It's my nice Prismacolor 120 pencils in here. Okay, I'm gonna have to reorganize my space. So let's see. This camera. Oh, I don't need this Copic swatch book. Open this. Got gaff tape on here. It leaves sticky residue on the side, but it's worth having it because I've dropped these. Maybe not this particular set, I can't remember, but I've dropped one of my colored pencil sets before, and it is horrible. Not only because of the cleanup, but because you can damage your colored pencils, and you won't know that you damaged it for a while too, because they can get broken in the core, and then so you don't know that until you sharpen it down to that point. Okay, how can I do this? I think what I had to do was move my main camera can't come any farther down. So what if I move the colored pencils to be in the middle? Nope, that's not going to work either. Oh, what if I do it like this? Haha! Hooray! Okay. I did it! It fits. Well, my lamp is blocking it right there, but for the most part, it fits. And my drawing is still nice and center, so put this little fun camera. Although I wish it wouldn't cast a shadow. Don't cast a shadow, please. There we go. Oh, that's pretty good. Yay! Okay, everything's set up. Let's do this. If we can get this done in the next 20 minutes, we could start on digital work for the second half of the stream. That'll be fun. Yay! It is kind of hard to look at the colored pencils sideways like this, though. I'm not used to that. Let's start at this point on his body and move down this way. Because I'm left-handed, so if I work over here, then there's less chance of me smudging any of the colored pencil as I'm working. So that means we need some pink. We need a nice color for shadow for his mouth, which this looks like it might be good. Maybe it's a little too brown. I'm wanting a sort of purpley, but it's got to be shadow. It can't be too vivid. So we need a little bit dull, kind of purpley, but also not that dark. It's not very dark shadow in there in his mouth. Here's one. I wonder if this is not too dark. It's not very sharp though, so let's sharpen it. Got my favorite Ratchetta sharpener here. This is my favorite because, you know, normal sharpeners, you have to keep taking the pencil out, or you have to keep moving your hand to keep swirling it in order to keep it sharpening. So you have to keep grabbing it and grabbing it and grabbing it. This is a ratchet mechanism. So all you have to do is move your wrist back and forth. You don't have to keep letting go of the pencil. And it doesn't even take very long to get this super sharp point. And good, it doesn't look like it's going to fall out. That's just a thing that happens with colored pencils. You sharpen it and it, boop, it just falls right out. Okay. I might just hit my head on the lamp. Oh, one day I'll figure out my lamp situation. Okay. Time to add this little bit of shadow. Oh, this actually seems really good. As long as I don't put down too much. Keep it light. And we can make it darker as it comes farther back into the mouth, because that'll just be more shadow anyway. And a little bit on the edge over here. And same thing on this edge. We can make it a little darker as it goes farther back. I love using the colored pencil. Colored pencil on top of alcohol marker is the best. It's so good. I love it so much. Adding the details is just the best. It's the best part. The best part of the process. So satisfying. It's such a nice reward. Okay, I think that's good. Oh wait, oh, his nosy. Let me zoom in on my reference image. It's not very close in on his nosy. Okay, yeah, like this nostril is a lot more, I mean, it makes sense. It's in shadow. It's this side of his whole body, and the light is coming from in over here, so this nostril is super in shadow, and then also the bottom part of his nose is more shaded too. Okay, instead of using my hand, it's better practice to use my swipey brush. Okay, got that out. I just did it automatically using my hand, and then I realized. And I do that all the time too. Like, whoopsie. It's not the end of the world, but it is better practice just in case there's anything on your hand, some little grease from touching your face or something like that. Okay, we're done with the pink. Wow! Next, if I want to add any more shadow to his white fur, but I don't feel like it needs it. I think at most I might want to add some white ink. And if I do, it's better to leave it untouched by colored pencil because the ink doesn't like to sit on top of waxy pencil. It does seem though around his eyes on this side, if I could add just a little bit. I'm not even sure what color that, it just looked kind of like a gray color. I'll go over here to my grays. Sort of just a warm gray maybe. Try this one, which is completely broken. So I'm definitely going to sharpen this one. Getting there. Oh, well, it did exactly what I was talking about. And what that means is that the core is broken in here, inside of this pencil casing, the wood casing. And all you can do is just keep sharpening until you reach a point where it's not broken. Even though that does happen, it's annoying, but colored pencils, at least how much I use them, still last so long. I don't think it's anything that makes it not worth using them or something. Excellent. This is a great color for this. I don't like that it breaks off and then there's a perfectly good bit of colored pencil that I can't really use without going to extremes to somehow try to salvage it. That's perfectionism again. I just throw it away. So it's like, I have to weigh things, you know. Is it really worth it to try to save that little half a centimeter of colored pencil lead? Because I rarely have had to buy another colored pencil. These are lasting me so long. So this one is getting pretty short. So maybe someday in the future I will need to buy another one of these, but I've even bought some colored pencils preemptively because they were getting short like this, but I still haven't actually needed the replacement yet. And I bought those years ago, so I've stopped doing that. It's a waste of money to buy stuff because someday you'll run out. Just wait until you actually run out. And then even if that product isn't available anymore, it probably means there's some even better product available now and the other one stopped being made because it's not as good. So, I mean, change is hard though. It is disappointing when you have this one thing that you really like using and it's no longer available. I'm trying to use the edge of this tip that I've sharpened and I keep rotating it so that I can continue to have the sharpest edge possible. But I'll probably have to sharpen this again after a little longer. Now I'm adding all that detail I was talking about. So adding a little bit more darkness, but also lovely fur texture. And the fur on his head is most detailed out of his whole body, because the camera seems to have focused most on his face. You can see a little bit of texture detail in his body too, especially on this side that's more lit. More well lit. Because his whole self is lit. But anyway, the way that the camera seems to have done that, I like keeping that for this illustration, because the attention should go on his face. So let's put the most amount of detail in his face, then that way the body doesn't try to compete. In a weird way, for this chibi, and really almost any chibi, the body is just a supporting character. I mean, it's literally supportive because it's a body, but it's not the main character. It's a side character. So it shouldn't be taking the attention away. Alright, I'm going to sharpen it again. It's gotten pretty flat, as you can see, even with the camera not focusing on it. Just a few rotations and it's nice and sharp again. Sarah, hello! Hooray! You did make it! Yay! So glad to see you. Wow, that's 3 days in a row. It might be a record. How are you? Are you having a great day? How's your Friday going? Do you have any fun plans for the weekend? Hope you're doing well. So great to see you again. No, not you too. One of my friends locally keeps getting sick. She was sick last month, or at the beginning of this month, and then she's sick again this week, and now you and you can't take medicine. Oh. Well, I hope it is just a cold and you can get over it quickly. I'm sending you as much spiritual comfort as I can. Sending you good vibes. Ugh. That's awful. Are there any herbal supplements that you're allowed to take? I know that can be a kind of murky water because not as many herbal supplements are tested because there's not money in testing them. So it's probably better to be safe than sorry. So this is great using this pencil. I can add a little bit of fur texture, but since it's this color, it's not standing out as much as it is over here, which is exactly what I wanted. Oh, and I guess to introduce to Sarah, I don't know if you just popped in, or I imagine that you did. I am working on this gift chibi pet caricature for my sister Satuita, who is sometimes here on Twitch. So we are almost done. This is Tiger, her kitty Tiger. That's what we're working on today. I finished the marker a little earlier during this stream, and now just adding the details with colored pencil. Final physical media step will be white ink, and then we'll take it to the computer for the finishing touches. Oh, yeah, whichever I can do either one. Just have to have a full body photo. Though I guess if I can't see the feet for a human, then I can just sort of make, because the feet are just little nubs anyway, so that's okay. But it's good to have as much of the full body as possible for a human, and definitely for an animal, because animals have all kinds of different fur patterns and their feet might be slightly different or something. But yeah, if you decide on one, just let me know. I've got a little list going. Next will be a birthday chibi gift for one of my high school friends, and next after that will be a thank you gift to Exie for 2 years being a Twitch subscriber. And then I think I could add yours to the list. I mean, I definitely could, but yep, I've got 2 more to do after this, and then I don't have anything taking up any slots right now after those. I actually have them written down in my planner, so it's really easy to keep track and not forget who or what I need to do next. Wow, got a lot of use out of this pencil. No wonder it's so short. It's such a useful color. All right, next. I feel like I actually went a little too dark here on his cheek right there, but it's hard to take that back. I can take it back digitally, so I might consider doing that, but it's also not that big of a deal. Oh, let's add a little detail to his eyes. I love adding a little bit of extra oomph using colored pencils in the eyes, even if I'm not really seeing it in the photo. As I'm always saying, humans love eyes. We love eyes, so let's make them extra special. Definitely a yellow-green color. Ooh, what if I add this really like neon-ish? What is this called? Chartreuse. Yeah. Let's add this one. It's a little dull though, so let's sharpen this one as well. Animals have complex markings. Yep. Yeah, humans, I can kind of, because we wear clothes, so I can just be like, well, I can't see what their feet are like, but I'll just give them some tennis shoes or whatever. But animals have whatever they naturally have, so it's hard to just make something up and make it a caricature. Now, if I'm just drawing a random cat and I'm not using a reference, and it's just supposed to be a cat, that's completely different. I can definitely draw a made-up cat, no problem. But these are caricatures, so it really matters. I want it to capture the spirit, the visual spirit of that individual. Aww. Taika is my most precious boy. Aww. Well, you could choose one, and then I plan to continue sending out these birthday chibi gift certificates, so you can count on another one coming this year. So it's not like you have to choose one and you'll never get another opportunity or something. But I don't want to rush you or anything. Just if you decide, just let me know. I would love to make something for you. It's interesting because when I first started sending these certificates out, nobody redeemed them. And then finally someone did. And then like a week later someone else did and someone else did. And then I even had one friend get one the next year and they're like, oh no, I lost my other one. Is it too late? And I'm like, I'm sorry. That's why I put the expiration date, because I send so many out. You don't realize how many friends you have until you start sending out presents or start making presents for them. And you're like, oh man, I have too many friends. Not really. Don't really think that. I don't want less friends. Definitely not. But it's actually a lot of work to just, you know, make my birthday cards that I make for everybody and write a proper message in it and put the gift certificate in there and all that. And then making the chibi, which I love doing all of this. I wouldn't do it if I didn't love it, but this is a lot more work. So that's why it does have an expiration date. So please do redeem before that. Yeah, you've got plenty of time. Plenty of time to think about it. Okay. I think I'm going to have to empty this. This is getting pretty full today. Put those little wood shavings in the trash here that we're stuck on. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of darker color to his eyes, especially up here at the top. Ooh, the lead in this pencil is wobbly. It's threatening to come out. No! Don't! There. It really wants to come out, but I saved it. I turned it the other way and it went back in. At least last until I'm done with these eyes. Come on. Oh no, don't come out. Ah. I don't know if you can see it on the small camera, how it's wobbling and trying to exit. Don't leave. No. I'm gonna have to sacrifice it. I can't push hard enough on it. So I gotta sharpen this again. Okay, I am gonna empty this into the trash. Alright, round 2. Getting there. Wait. It came off in there. Blast it. Okay, I got it out. Broke off again. No. This pencil does not want to work with me. Okay, I got it. Come on. I'm going to have to empty this again from a single pencil. I just want to... This is the perfect color. Oh. Oh, yay. Hooray. This is the perfect color to make this darker green for these eyes. So I really want this one. It's so frustrating sometimes. Broken lead inside pencil hurts my heart. I was talking about it earlier. Like, it's just kind of how it is with this art medium. But it's still tough because you're like, should I try to save all these, or is it worth it to save them? And I have determined that it's not worth it. It's too much extra work to try to somehow save the pencil leads. I actually want to add a little bit extra darker, even darker green on this side, because this side is the most shadowy. The light is coming from this direction. Add a little bit extra right next to the pupil. I always love doing that because the pupil is actually a hole in the eye, so it curves. The iris actually curves in a little bit. So adding that dark around that rim helps show that. Okay. Moving along. Might actually be done with colored pencil because I did his whole body. Wait, I'm not done, because my favorite thing to do with a colored pencil is this final little special touch using usually this color. I can tell because it's the shortest of my purple pencils. And I like adding this purple to areas that are in shadow because it just makes the whole image pop. And it's super subtle. I love that you don't necessarily notice it at first. And yet it brings a life, a vibrancy to the whole image that just isn't there without it. There's anywhere where it's super dark, and especially because it's a shadowy area. I'm going to be very light on areas where it's really light anyway, because I want this to be subtle. It's okay if it's noticed, but I don't want it to be really obvious at first glance. And in this case, I'll actually do something I've done before, which add a little bit of blue on the side where the light's coming. A really light blue to indicate where blue sky light is coming and hitting him. So in the reference photo, I'm really noticing this effect right here on this part of his head that I'm coloring right now. I'll put a little bit on his eye too. A little bit of something right there. Oh well, that's okay. It'll be cut out once I cut this out anyway, digitally. Woo! It's time for the most exciting part. Adding the white ink details. Put my pencils away first. Love that wooden smell of the colored pencils. When you open or close it, it's a big of wooden pencil smell in your face, and it's actually quite lovely, I think. Okay, my white colored pencils, no, not colored pencils, my white ink pens. I actually think I have some in my, so not very wide variety though, so. I have a pen stand here that's like for writing and just typical stuff, but I'm going to get my drawing kit out and use those that are in here. Oh, 3 minutes until break time. We'll see, because I got started late, that's why. We'll see if I can finish this. I mean, technically it should be break time in about 30 seconds as far as the length of time I've been streaming, but come on, we're so close. I'm just gonna finish this white ink stuff first. So first, his highlight on his eye. That's the best part anyway. It's so nice. Oh, he comes to life. As soon as you plop this on there, boom! They have a soul. They have a soul when they have the light in their eyes. I'm going to do a little artistic license and add a little extra cute spots. Cute spiny shiny spots. I'll let it dry first. I was going to enhance it by adding more ink on top, but I'll let it dry first, actually. What I just used was an acrylic marker pen. But there's other areas, like in his ears, I wanted to add. Ugh, but since I put all that purple in, it doesn't like it. I wonder if I should just try to do this on Photoshop. At least this is illustrating exactly what I always say, that ink does not like to go on top. And I think I shall do that. I'll just use Photoshop to add the final white highlights. I deliver all of these digitally anyway, so it's not a problem. So that means instead of the white, all I need to do now is add my signature with black ink, and then the next step would be digitizing, which I can do after taking my break. So let's sign it. Can't remember what size I've been using. I think I've been using the 8. So we'll just do the 8 sign right here. 25. 25, my second one of this year. Yay! Okay, I'll leave him right here. Physical media done. Oh, that would work too. Oh, that's okay. Especially if you're feeling sick. Brain fog, don't worry about it. Plus, you've got a whole nother, well, not an hour, but you've got a whole nother like 40-ish minutes to chat with me, so. I mean, and of course we have the phone too, so no problem. No problem, take your time. Okay, let's take a break. I do really need to stretch. My hip is bothering me today, so I did a really good workout today. So many squats, and now my hip is bothering me. I'm excited to go stretch right now. So I recommend everybody else, if you like, take a break as well. Physical break, mental break. Don't forget your eyes. Give them a break. Get some water, a snack. I'm going to put my Be Right Back screen on, and I'll be back in about 5 minutes. everyone, I'm back. I hope you had a great break. I did. I got snuggled by my puppies as I was stretching on the floor. So that was nice. And now, so sorry, you're not going to be able to hear me very, very well for a minute. I am switching over to my digital workstation. So I'm getting the scanner turned on. I'll move some of this stuff so I can get my keyboard out. So it's tucked under here. I need my keyboard and mouse back. These. I'm going to move my writing work. Which that's why I was late starting today, because I was having a great time working on my novel today and I completely lost track of time. I knew it was getting close to streaming time, but I was like, oh, this won't take very long. I really want to finish this thought. And then what do you know? I finished it and it was exactly time to start streaming. Okay, I'm muting my mic for a minute. Well, not for a minute. For 5 seconds or whatever that was. I just moved it back over to my desktop PC workstation. Let me get my scanning software up and grab this drawing. I guess I'll also move this little camera because it's easy to do. Look at our little sweet chappy girl. I think you can see her. Hopefully, I can't actually see where that's pointing at right now. Is it pointing at Chappy Girl? Oh, you can see a lot of my messy table, but you can't see. She brought her favorite Christmas present in with her, which you can't really tell because the camera's not close enough to pick. It's this plastic bone. She loves it. She brought it in with her this time. Oh, she just curled up. So cute. So cute, Chibi. Okay. Good enough. Whatever that is, that's good enough. Okay. Need me swipey brush. I like to use this to swipe off any dust, hairs, and other particles off of the image and also off of the glass from the scanner surface. And I'll pop that in there. Put the lid down. Okay. I'll switch over to my desktop PC capture and preview. Oh, I had a big yawn inside for some reason. Alright. Let's move this marquee. We don't need to scan all that extra stuff. So that's just data taking up room on the hard drive. There. And let's turn it now so that it's, well, actually, what is correct? This. Okay. It's hard to tell. Okay. Scan. And I suppose while that's scanning, I'll get Photoshop up too. I don't need any of this what's new stuff. Turn that off. Okay. That's up. You can always tell Photoshop is on because the fans on my PC start ramping up. Ooh, I've got some water here. Ah! Nice sip of water while I waited. Okay, so that should be good. I'm going to close that. Turn off the scanner so that we don't have to listen to that high-pitched humming noise the whole time. Actually, it will turn off on its own after a while, but it's easier just to turn the scanner off. Okay, so the scan does look good. There's no big obvious like a cat hair or something on it, and we did not cut anything out. So I'm gonna open this. So first thing, let's save as. Get into the career files, visual art, artwork, and so use the date. And this is Chibi, Chibi Tiger. Should I say Chibi Tiger or should I say, I'm trying to follow the same nomenclature as my previous cat caricatures. So let me go back. Oh yeah, I just put the name. Chibi Kenny for Marty. Chibi Missy for Leah. Alright, so we'll just put the name. I was confused because it was Chibi Steve the Otter for Mom, but Steve the Otter is the full name of the internet character, so that's why it's that. Okay, so Chibi Tiger for Arista. And Adobe RGB is good. Yep. That's today's date. Save. Next, I like to make a copy. If I remember, I don't always remember, but I like to make a copy so that this background layer is just there as insurance in case something goes terribly wrong. I do something crazy and then save it and close it and forget that I did that or something. There's still this one to go back to if I absolutely must. So next, let's adjust the levels. I purposefully scan at less contrast than I could because I found my scanner can take it too far and then we lose details because it's so dark. So this way I can adjust it myself to what I think looks right. I think that looks really nice. I wonder if I should take it even a little bit darker. It's a tiny bit darker. Or is that too much? Well, I do rather like what I'm seeing when I look at the navigator. Losing a little bit of detail, say right here, but I don't feel bad about losing that. It actually looks nicer. I think having this be a smoother, just dark area instead of seeing the different layering of marker and ink. I suppose the only thing is maybe the white's a little bit too high up now because the pink is looking fluorescent. Maybe we'll turn that down a little bit. But I do like to get it fairly white because the paper isn't actually white, it's paper color, which is different than a pure white on a screen. I think that's good though. So we'll save that and we'll actually save the file now that I've done that. The next step is cut out the, wait, I don't want this one. Cut out the image so that we just get rid of all this extra white stuff. And I can never remember which one of these. Last time I got mixed up about which one I like, and I thought that the tool was messed up, but actually I just had the wrong tool. So I'm trying to remember, is it selection brush or is it, there's object selection, there's quick selection. I can never remember what it's supposed to be. It's selecting too much when I do that. Blast it. Maybe if I use, so right now I'm using my mouse, but maybe this will be a little bit more accurate if I used my stylus. Actually, I'm going to move my workstation around a little bit, which means I need to move my water bottle so that I can put my keyboard there to my right, and then I can pull down my lovely Wacom Cintiq tablet, which is I call it a tablet monitor. I don't think that's officially what it's called, but that's literally what it is. And now this is basically in my lap. And so I am going to press, I think, Alt. Press and hold Alt. Okay. The cursor has a little minus sign. So what I'm trying to do is eliminate this white. I don't want it to select the white, but it's not smart enough to really do what I want it to. But I'm hoping that by using the stylus instead of the mouse, I can be more precise and it can have a better idea of what I'm trying to grab. And like these whiskers. So now I'm going to press Shift, which should have, yes, it has a plus. So this way I can select these whiskers. Yep, it's like, oh, I guess you want the whole area. It's so advanced and yet still, after all these, look at that, it grabbed the whole space. Ugh. After all this time, I've been using this since the early aughts. It still can't get it right. Let's press Alt again and see if we can deselect some of this stuff without deselecting the whiskers, I hope. It might be easier just to select this manually using the lasso tool. Yeah, look at it. It doesn't even know. Let's just do this. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. I'm going to deselect with the lasso tool because it's not working at all on these thin areas. And I'll just go in, I'll zoom in there. But I'll go back to that other tool and see if there's anywhere else I can select. Maybe these are thick enough. Wait, which one's Shift? No, the top one is Shift. There we go. Maybe these are thick enough that it'll be smart enough to grab. Meh. Man. Ah, and it didn't get this little... Ugh. I guess I have too high expectations. Alright. For the most part, it got it. I do like, it didn't grab this little part, which I would have wanted to take out anyway. Oh, it didn't get this part. Let's try to see if we can add that in there. We want this, please. We want that selected. Anywhere else that it's missing that is key. Looking for any other marquees that are like, oops, we didn't actually want to miss that, but it's so small. Okay. Alright, time to go to the good old lasso tool, which is what I used to use all the time for this. And just do my best to erase close, similar to how it has selected it with that other tool. So here we're deselecting actually. And here we want to actually select more because I didn't get it all. And switching back between holding Shift and holding Alt. And it doesn't have to be perfect because I am going to use the select function to expand this so that there's a little bit of the, oh no, I forgot to actually hold down. Okay, a little bit of the white paper retained as a border. I have to do it in chunks like this because of the way the lasso tool works, and then just physically I can't move my hand any further on the screen. That's pretty good. So we'll just go along here, deselect anything I don't want it to keep. A lot of this will come back when I expand the selection, but this helps create the shape of the selection in the first place. I don't mind some of these being kept here because of the way the fur is so bumpy. Sarah, the struggle is real. Woo. It is. Overall, it's fun though. Even fighting with the program, trying to get it to do what I want. It'd be nicer if I didn't have to wrestle with it, but on the other hand, it is this another form of creativity, creative problem solving. All right, here we go. Time to add these whiskers to the selection. Oops, it's thinking a little bit too much right there. Just keep adding. Keep adding. Chunk by chunk. That'd be an interesting book name. Like, what genre is that? Could be anything. What if it was a romantasy? The title is Chunk by Chunk. Wow. I don't know if I'd want to read such a book, but it would definitely pique my interest. Just like, the heck? Man, since I have to do it this way, this is going to take a little while. Still got about 20 minutes though, so. Other than cutting this out and adding some white, we shouldn't have too much work to do. So hopefully I can get it done in 20 minutes. If not, I'll probably finish this off stream because it's just so little work left to do. Oops. I'd rather start the next Chibi Friday with something new. Sarah, I just had a thought. How many months have you been subscribed here on Twitch? Because if it's over 12, I've been offering everyone as a reward who has that first badge for being a founder here at this channel a Chibi caricature every year. That's one of the next ones I'm going to be doing, like I said, for Xe. So if that's the case, then you actually do have 2 Chibis if you like to redeem from me. Well, 16 months, yes. So you do. So if you'd like me to add Harmony and G-Mom, just let me know. Got my list, I can write them down. You gotta send me the photos though. But they will be number 3 and 4 on my current list, not including Tiger here. So you'd have plenty of time to get me some photos. Oh, this batch of whiskers is done. Goodness. Okay. Oh, next batch of whiskers. Here they are. Aw, that's really hard. I understand how you feel. I don't know if this happens to you, but it just sort of... Your words remind me of how... For the longest time after my mom died, I would have dreams that she didn't actually die, and my brain would come up with a story about what actually happened and why she was gone, and it was so realistic that I'd wake up feeling like, is that real? Is she actually still alive and I just didn't know? And it's really tough when someone really important passes away. And it's hard because there's not really anything you can say that makes it better. It's the only thing I've found is just over time, your heart and your mind heals on its own. halfway through these whiskers. Halfway. My arm is feeling pretty sore, and I think it's got to be because of all my workouts this week. I turned down the difficulty on Ring Fit Adventure, but I've still been pretty sore afterwards. So I think I might need to turn it down again, because this week, even though I have, on the weekends, I only just take my dogs for a walk, so it's like recovery time. I'm not working out that hard. Like, I am exercising, but I'm not working out. And yet, after 2 days of rest or active recovery, I was still sore on Monday. So I think if I'm still sore by the next week after 2 full days of rest / active recovery, that means that my workouts are too hard. Because if you're constantly in a state of soreness, then you're just going to end up getting injured. And I know this from personal experience because I always tend to push myself too hard. Also because I love exercising. I didn't used to, but I have gotten so into it over the years that I love exercising. It's really fun, and I've found really fun ways to exercise. I think that's the key, is the exercise that I choose to do is really fun to me. And I'm pushing myself too hard. So like right now my shoulder is like, my shoulder of my drawing arm. Oh, someone's having a dream. Ooh. Don't know if you're hearing that little barking. One of my pups went into dreamland. Dang, this whisker's so big it doesn't really fit on the whole screen. Oops, I grabbed a little bit too much right there. Whoa, that's way too far. Whew, I did it. Oh, look, it didn't select this part. Hey. Oh, or this part. Come now. Okay. Moving around. See, I like it didn't grab that. Ah, here's another spot. Gotta get this manually. Take that part out. This part out. This is a little too far in. There. Almost done with this part. I guess I'll leave that section right there. Okay, let's zoom out, finally. Whew. Okay, I'm lifting my tablet back up. Oh, both of my shoulders are so sore. I can feel it. Feel it now. Wish my chair didn't squeak so much these days. It didn't used to squeak when I first got it last year, but it does now. Okay, Control X to cut that out. Control V to paste it. And we don't need this background copy layer anymore. Whoops, go in the trash can, please. And to make sure that it actually cleanly cut it out, which it doesn't always do, we're going to put a stroke on to look for any spare particles. Sometimes they'll be sticking around here, but it did a good job this time. So let's see, we don't want position inside though, we want position outside. Oh wait, shoot, I forgot to make it bigger, so cancel. Never mind. We're going back. So I needed to make this bigger first. So select, modify, expand by 10 pixels. Yep. Now, Control X, Control V, delete that leftover stuff. Now we'll put that layer style on, stroke. Look for little spare particles and not on inside, we want it on outside, please. Alright, good. So there's no random spots. And there's no parts on the inside that accidentally got cut out either. That can happen. Alright, so we don't need that. What we do need is to add some white. But I don't want it to be perfect white. I want it to match the paper. So we're going to select, let's see, are we on, we'll do a 3x3 average of around here. So you can see it's not quite white, it's a little bit off white. All white would be FF, FF, FF. So there's 3 F's in there, but not all F's. So that'll be our white color. And now it's time to bring the tablet back down. First, I'd like to get these highlights in the eyes a little bit more defined. I do want it to be, what was I liking, Pastel Palooza? I want it to have a little texture to it. It's sad, I had made the perfect brush before, and then I had that annoying problem with Photoshop with printing, so I had to delete all my settings, so I lost the brush. Or maybe hold on, maybe I saved it. Ah, that would be awesome if I did. If I thought to actually save it in my folder instead of letting Photoshop take care of that. Let's see, import brushes. So presets, I would have put it in my, let's see. If I had saved it, I would have put it here. Dang, I didn't think to do that. I was a fool. I was a fool. Unless it's in here. Computer stuff? No. Avatars. Programs. No. Dang. Oh well. I'll just keep using this one. I'm actually going to turn the opacity down. So let me undo all of this. So I want the opacity to be a little transparent so it's not so stark a difference between the physical media and the digital media. So what do you mean you have to adjust the levels after the fact to get true white? I expect my scans not to have true white because art paper is, unless it's super bleached paper, like bright white, you can get these like crazy bright white, extremely bleached papers. If that's the case, then I would imagine that the scan would come out with a true white. But like this paper that I use is definitely not true white on its own. It's a little bit more natural. white. Let's zoom out and see what this looks like smaller. Oh, that looks really good. Yay! Okay. The only thing is, I don't feel like this brush is going to do what I want for these lines in the ears representing the guard hairs in the ears. So I'll try this one. I guess this works. It's good enough. Can be good enough. Doesn't have to be perfect. Sort of the theme of today's stream. Doesn't have to be perfect. Working on unhelpful perfectionism. Don't want it anymore. No more unhelpful perfectionism. Let's see what that looks like. Ooh, you know what? I'm doing this on the main layer. Ooh, I don't know about that. But I kind of don't want to have to do this over again. Grrr! Fine. I'm gonna redo it all. Ooh, I don't know if I can. The history isn't going... Oh, well, I gotta... Oh, the history's not going back far enough. Alright, I'll go back to the point where I started adding the guard hairs. And at least that can be on a separate layer. There we go. New layer. That's much better. Okay, go back in. Do this again. Yeah, I actually had to make a decision because the art paper that I use for printing Patreon rewards comes in a bleached version and a natural version. And the natural version is very natural. It's got that really warm look. And I finally decided to go with the natural because warm is actually what I want most of my artwork to emanate. So that works for me, actually. I'm still looking at my reference photo. Get an idea of how the hairs grow, because they don't grow all the way to the edge in every case. There are some, so I'll like add one right there. But a lot of them seem to come about to this halfway point. Okay, let's zoom out and see what that looks like. It's pretty good, but it's a pretty stark start. So, to rectify that, we'll just use the soft round pressure size and turn the opacity down on the eraser. Oh, make it bigger. And erase some to just soften it up a little bit. Why is it not really erasing this? The heck? How did I end up with one? No! How did that happen? How did that happen? No! I was on the right one, and then I wasn't on the right one. I guess I clicked the wrong one right here. And then I made the new layer. Let's do it again. Photoshop gremlins. Grr. I will not be defeated. I will persevere. I'm gonna get this. Even if I have to finish off stream, you won't defeat me, gremlins. I love that. That's funny. You said I've done it so many times I don't even need to look at my reference photo because it's like, oh yeah, this, and we don't want it to go too far, but there were a few here and all this stuff. It just gets better every time I do it. Okay, now we're gonna go here, and actually I'm gonna take the opacity down a little bit more. Actually, that was not a little bit, but let's do it. Like, especially right here, it's so dark, so I think the hairs are actually white. It's not just that these are highlights. So that means that they shouldn't actually be too white right here because they're in shadow. Some of this, yes, some of this is actually the gel pen on the page. Actually, I'm going to take it all down a little bit. Oh, that looks really good. When I'm looking at the navigator right here, oh, this looks really good. Right here could be a little less. Oh, perfecto. Okay. Oh, only 2 minutes. You have a positive and a negative environment at the same time. That's just how it goes, though. And it's so hard, too, because it's like, oh, it's so unpleasant. And yet, I love my puppies. I want to snuggle with them. I know that. I know that feeling. It's like, ugh. And yet, I can't kick you off because you're so sweet and cuddly, and I know you're not doing it on purpose. Especially because I'm the one that chooses what they eat for the most part, so I'm the one to blame. Also, just natural. It's just natural, actually. It's just a natural function of the body. It's not anything is wrong. That's just how it's supposed to work. So, but it's unfortunate. Yeah. So precious. So sleepy. So stinky. Oh, so hard. It's tough being a dog mom. Okay, actually, ironically, on this side that's catching more light, these white hairs don't stand out as much, so I'm definitely going to... Oh, I am already on the eraser. Erase these back as well. So they're still there making a difference, but they interestingly don't stand out as much as the ones on this side. Maybe it's just the contrast, because it's more shadowy and then there's white hairs on top. But I think that looks pretty good. We are at time, though. I wonder if I should just keep going. I did get started late. Let's keep going for a little bit longer. So if you can't stick with me, I'm not going to make you, but I'm going to just keep streaming a little bit longer. I'm so close to done. And I did get started late because I was just so into my novel. I figured out something really cool that I had not thought about before. Oh, that's too strong. Let's do a lower opacity. Oh, and let's go back to the, I think the Pastel Palooza will be good here. I just want to add a little tiny hint. In fact, I'll do it all across the top. What does that look like? I don't think I like it, actually. Let's take it back. There. So we'll go back to the pencil, charcoal pencil. I think that's what I was using. And I'll keep it just on the pink part. I had been putting it up on the ink, black ink part, but I think that's why I wasn't liking it. And now let's erase. Whoa, that's very huge for this. We'll just erase some. How's that? Oh, that's way better. Let's save real quick. I haven't saved in a minute. And he definitely has some white highlights here on this bottom lip. And once again, we'll tone them down a little bit with some erasing. Save again. Oh, it looks good. Really like that. Where else? Where else does he need some distinct... Ooh! The whiskers coming up from his eyebrows. I was saving those. So all his whiskers are actually white. But I did these ones in black ink because otherwise they wouldn't show up. You know. So these ones, though, since it's got the dark background, I was saving for this stage. And in his case, there's usually, I find, 2 of these whiskers. But I only see 2 on each side, I mean. But I'm only seeing 1 line in this photo, so I'll just do 1 on each side. Maybe I'll make it a little smaller for this. And it starts right about above the corner of the eye here. And it's going, this one is going all the way up here. So it's like something like that. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then the other one is kind of going into the middle of the ear, but maybe stopping about there. Starting around here. So, that. I don't like that. I don't like that. It's starting too low. Oh, yeah. That's good. Dang squeaky chair. I don't like this squeaky chair. Okay. And this actually does start pretty strongly, but there's a little bit where you can see it's coming out of the fur. So this very little tippy tip will erase a little bit. Ooh! Save. Guess I could erase a little bit more. I'm zoomed out. It's very, very strong. Let's take the whole thing down a little bit. There we go. That's better. Save again. Haha! Oh, he looks good! So there's not anywhere else on him with really, really strong highlights. Nor any more white fur that could use a little extra help, I don't think. I'm just looking for anywhere else that could use this touch of white. But I'm not seeing it. I've got the highlights in his eyes, got highlights on his nose and mouth. So I think he's done. Yay! Another Chibi character done. There are a few steps left to do with saving in 2 formats for these caricatures. I always save in both PNG and JPEG so that the recipient can use the image in various ways. But I don't need to do that on stream, so I'll save that for after while I'm uploading the recording of this stream. And since I am going to work on that, I'm not going to raid today because whenever I raid, I know that everybody seems to be happy with with a raid if you raid and run, but I just can't do it. I love chatting with people, so I just need to not raid at all. So I am going to end here for today. I'll be back next week. It's the first week of February, so we'll have a new charity fundraiser started. I don't remember exactly who I chose for February, but it's a new month. I can't believe it. The second month of the new year is already starting. And I already got 2 Chibi caricatures done. Hooray! Alright, that's it for me today. I will be back next week at the regular time. Just check my schedule on Twitch. I hope to see you then, but if not, I still want to wish you a wonderful rest of your day and an awesome weekend. Thank you for watching!